I want you to speak about being purposeful. A man that has vision.
Again, I go back to when we were young. Most people would go for people who would be able to afford good clothes. They would go for people who would be able to afford to take them out, to great restaurants, and, people who seem to be very well established because of their background. And I know some who had come straight from shags. They did not have money. They did not have social class and all that. But right now, as we are speaking, they actually own companies. They are employers. They employ those guys who are very well dressed. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And when I reflect and I look at the difference between the two, it's because this man who came from a very humble background had a vision of success from the word go. They have decided my environment is not going to define the type of person I'm going to turn out to be. And so this person would have a vision that because I have been called to campus, I am going to study and be able to learn everything I can in campus. So you would find this young man, they would, if they don't have money to do a course, they would go for what we used to call work study. Work study is where you would be working while still attending classes. So you'd be assigned some work within the campus to do when you're free, and you would give you would say, oh, I can be able to give 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours per day. So they would study and do work study. And then using the work study money, they would pay for certain courses that they desire to do apart from what they are doing. So you'd find somebody doing BCom and doing CPA. And so they have no time to socialize, and people would think this is a stupid guy, or he's not up to the standard which we would want. I don't want to hang around this person. But immediately they get to finish the school, they already have a business background and they have an accounting background. And this person starts up because they already have the self-drive. They start a small company. And I know right now some people who are running import-export agri-bus type of business. I know others who are running, very interesting businesses. Others are running schools with integrity, that they are even called to talk about business with integrity in every forum in Africa. And I'm talking about a person you would have easily passed when they were young. So what's my point there? It is important for a young man to have a vision of the type of a person they want to be. Mm-hmm. They may not have a vision of the type of business or the type of career, but at least the type of a person they want to be. And this means that if you want to be a successful person, then the way you carry yourself is towards success. Everything you're doing right now is building up to that type of a person. Because when you say, I want to be a pilot, you may get somewhere and realize, I actually do not want to be a pilot. But you see, if you say, I want to be a successful person for whatever I endeavor, it means you're going to be building up your character rather than building up for a particular, let's say, career. You align yourself with the right people. You push yourself to get the right skills, vision, and purpose. You don't have to align it to a very specific goal, but you can align yourself to have a character which whatever goal or whatever issue will come your way, you will succeed in it because you have built the right character in you. Mm-hmm. So a few tips on how to achieve that. 1, acquire skill. Every year, purpose to acquire a skill or 2. And then number 2, read books, because challenge each other with friends to read certain books. Read books about business, read books about your brain, read books about psychology, read books about sociology, or even how to socialize and how to become a better friend. Read books about God and how to be a godly person. Just pushing yourself every day. And that also continue building your character. Then associate yourself with the right people who will challenge you to be a better person than you are. And that would be a great way to be able to purpose to be a great man in future.
Now, there's this thing, Martin, that it is the discussion about compatibility. You are looking for someone that you are compatible with. And that word has really been misrepresented, that people approach it in terms of somebody that is in agreement with me.
Yeah.
You know, if I smoke, somebody who is in agreement with my lifestyle, they're compatible with me, you know.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it is being compatible in terms of agreement in the flesh, you know. You're compatible in our lusts, but nothing to do with purpose, nothing to do with assignment. So can you speak to that?
First of all, that compatibility is very, very interesting, because when you think of a jigsaw puzzle, the piece that actually fits with the other piece is the opposite in its shape. You get my point?
Yes.
Yeah, because if this part is jutting out, for you to get a piece that will fit in, the other piece must be jutting in,
Yes.
so that they are able to fit together, you know, like that. And so compatibility is actually the opposite of what people think. Every time I know my friends, you know, we've been with them together. I know their character. I know their weaknesses and their strength. Every time they get married, they get a woman who is the complete opposite of who they are. If they don't like cleanliness, their wife is going to be super clean. If they don't like reading, the wife is going to be a bookworm. It always happens, and vice versa. Opposite balance each other. When I was dating, I was looking for somebody who can push me to be a better person than I am, and I can be able to push them to be a better person than they are. And they would actually feel grateful and appreciate that I'm actually pushing them, building them up. So I'm building them up, they are building me up, and we are bringing our goodness together so that at the end of the day, our marriage can be good. It's not blissful. It's two very different people, but at least you all have a goal which you are working together. And I think compatibility is more towards the vision that you have rather than the character that you have.
I think that when you talk about dating, it's so important to even look at the track record of this person. The Bible talks about fruits. You shall know them by their fruit.
Their fruit,
yes. If a tree has a sign of apples, but when you come and look at the tree, it's giving you, let's say, lemon, you know, that's a contradiction. So the sign doesn't matter. So in other words, it's not about what someone is saying there. Not about somebody who is lifting up their hands and really worshiping in church. Yes, it's good for them to do that. But at the end of the day, look at the track record of their decisions.
One of the things, if you remember, immediately you fall in love, one of the things you have is blindness that you can never explain. Nobody
can tell you about it. No one can tell you this person is not right for you. You're just like, you don't know them like I do, man. You don't know them. Me, I know them.
And the blindness is usually caused by emotional, the hormones, the emotions that are running wild in you, so that they blind or they overpower the part of the brain that is logical. And so the first habit of very successful people is the ability to rise above the emotion and the environment and be able to objectively look at yourself and the situation, and then from there make a very solid logical decision. And so what I always advise young men and young ladies when I'm mentoring them, I'm telling them, how about we put away emotion? Let's put away emotion. Oh, he makes me feel. Oh, she makes me feel. Or, let's put away the feeling and then go to, okay, how is she when you have a conversation? Does the conversation stimulate you and make you want to be a better person? How is this person when you discuss finance or when they have money? Do they go ahead and spend, and at the end of the day, they go like, hey, I think I have overspent. Can you lend me? And then I'll give it back to you. Those are red flags that you can quickly pick up. When you go to their house impromptu, they may not be super neat, because to be honest, I wasn't neat. So I'm not talking about super clean, but I'm saying, is this person able to organize his life enough to live a good life? Is the person organized? Is the person focused? What are their plans? Have they put money for emergency? Do they have friends who look like they are organized? You're able to quickly forget the emotions, and all those good feelings, and you're able to assess this person for who they are. And from there, you will be able to actually decide whether this is the type of a person I want to live with, or no. Okay, they make me feel really, really good, and it's fun to be around them, but this is not the type of a person I would want to marry.
Speak to a young man out there, a young adult, somebody who is probably just struggling with issues. Maybe they never saw a good example of what a man is supposed to be.
Yeah.
We are called by God to be better than the generation before us. The devil's strategy is always to pass on generational curses from one generation to another. My father was a drunk, so therefore I am a drunk. My father walked away, so therefore they also walk away from their children, from their families. Or I saw my mom being beaten, my father was abusive. You see the same thing you're doing to your girlfriend, you're doing to your wife as well. That adulterous spirit, it's just running through from one generation to another. What can you say to a young man about just being better, striving to be better, choosing to do the right thing, even though you did not see that example of what the right thing is?
It's hard to be a man, I agree, especially if you have never been shown the way to be a man. But that is not an excuse to be a bad person, because you can decide to be a man. And this is how you would decide. Number one, even if you're struggling, get a person, a man who seems to know what they are doing, and just visit them, talk to them, share what you're struggling with. Somebody who you can open up to and tell them how you're struggling relationally. You're struggling academically. You're struggling even in terms of career choices, and they will listen to you and be able to guide you. So get somebody who you can work with. That really, really helped me in my formative years as a man. Then the second thing you need to do, and let me talk to people who are in college and they are living with their parents. The one thing you need to strive is to walk away from living with your mother and your father. As a man, you need to start life on your own. I know that sounds hard, but I would challenge you. Look for a rental place that is cheap. First of all, you can't begin with a fully furnished house. You can begin with a mattress and a room. I know that sounds like motivational speaker, but I'm telling you the truth. It's the way you build yourself. You can never build yourself in your parents' house. You are a man. Walk away. The Bible says that a man leaves his father and his mother, not a woman. A man is the one who lives. For as long as you're staying with your mother and your father, you can never live and cleave to your wife. And if you're living in your parents' home and you're dating, I would get a whip and beat you up. You're not supposed to date when you're still living with your parents. So that's the other thing. If you're in college, get attachment. If you can't get a job, get an attachment. What do you want to be? Do you want to be an accountant? Shadow an accountant. Do you want to be an IT expert? Go to those shops where they assemble computers and volunteer to work there for free. I'm a friend, by the way, Judy. My friend, when we were in college, he would volunteer to NCR computers. NCR computers were the only guys who would give, what do we call the ATMs to banks then. So he was doing computer science. So when we closed school, he would go and work there for free. He would volunteer. He would even volunteer to be a T-boy. Then suddenly he's being shown how to support them. Then suddenly how to program the software. By the time we were leaving campus, he had 2 years work experience. He was the first guy in our group to buy a car because he got a contract with an NGO. They gave him a contract. They asked him, how much do you want us to pay you? And we are fresh from campus. So he was thinking 50,000 is a lot of money. And so they said, okay, we'll get back to you. And they paid him 300,000. I mean, I learned a lot. Of course, I didn't do like him, but after I saw what he did, I got to learn a lot. Anytime you want something, you have to work for it. It doesn't, even if you're born again and you do keshas and you fast and all, you need to get experience. You need to go and work with somebody who would be able to groom you. So stop staying at home. Stop watching, binge watching. You know, they do this series where they are watching a series in one day, a series that is supposed to be watched for a whole year. They watch it in one day. You cannot be a man and you're
wasting
living
your time.
You are. Go for attachment. Go for attachment from 8 a.m. and leave at 4 p.m. Then go back. Even if you watch us 2 series and all that, and you help at home, or you go to class at 5:30, you are a more productive young man than that person who is sitting at home waiting to be given bus fare to go to school. Get your bus fare and go for attachment. That bus fare for going to school, go for an attachment, and then from there walk to your school and get to learn. By the time you finish your 4 years, you will have work experience and I will be willing to employ you. Don't come to me. Then this is what is frustrating. You know, I run a company and it's a programming company. So you're looking for somebody who does programming. They tell you that they've done this type of language, this type of language. Then you give them an assignment and they want you to supervise them and teach them. And they want you to pay them. You're teaching them, you're supervising them, and you pay them on top of that. It doesn't work that way. So young men, get out of your parents' house.
Possible to do better. It's possible. Don't give excuses that, oh, nobody has opened for me doors. Oh, I come from a poor family. You know, all these excuses. That's what we are saying. That it's your responsibility to do better, to want better, and to actually take action towards getting better.
Exactly. And the environment which you are complaining about, others are thriving in. So what's the difference between you and them? Because I know 2 people who went through the same course, 2 young men, I taught them. And you find, and they were very good friends. One of them is thriving by working with this company that asks people to donate blood. So he's championing and he's actually thriving in it. He's actually been made the head of a particular region to run that. And another one is still at home telling me, if you hear a job, please send it to me. Of course, I'll send it to them, but they will never get the job because they are at home. We need people with experience. So we know poor people who are at home lazing. We know rich people who are at home lazing. We know rich people who are somewhere doing very productive work. We know very poor people who are somewhere doing very productive work. I know ladies who are raped when they were kids, and right now they are changing the society. They are married and they are happy. I know men who are raped as kids, and right now they are changing the society and they are very productive. And I know those who are crying as victims. It's a matter of choice. You have the power to the narrative of your life. You are not a victim. I think that's the greatest challenge I can give you right now.
Yeah, we always have a choice. We might not have control of what happens to us. We always have a choice of how we react to what happens to us. So that's really, that was a really wonderful discussion. The last question that I wanted to ask you is now a personal one. What's the most effective daily habit you think you possess?
Two things I do. I usually wake up. I don't use an alarm. I just wake up. But I think my system is used to it, either at 2 or at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. So I wake up and I pray. So that time I will wake up and pray for my entire family, for my friends. I will pray, for my future, for what I want my family to be like. Prayer is like it's like a prophetic way of speaking into the future for the great things that you need to happen. So that's what I do. I speak into the future of people I'm related with and my family. Then after that, I sit down, not just to do Bible study, but I also read a book. And then the last thing is you try to keep a promise no matter what. If you've made a promise, if you've committed yourself to something, you die fulfilling it. So what that does is it will make you committed to your wife. It will make you committed to your God. It will make you committed to your friends, and it will keep you committed to your goals in life, in terms of career and all that.
Great. Yeah. And that concludes the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martin, for being here. and for your wisdom. Please continue to do the good work that you're doing with young people. You're such an inspiration, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I've really enjoyed the interview. Yeah.
And so to you, the viewer, I hope that this discussion, I hope that it has blessed you. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video.